First speaker, Mr. Barua, to deliver his thought about what he perceives about both higher education and urban.
Thank you, Mr. Singh, and very good afternoon to all present here. I hope I don't put you to sleep. It's a difficult challenge, as Dr. Singh has already said. Well, the fortunate part is that fresh from just Cambodia, Myanmar and Vietnam in the last month. So I possibly would be able to give you a ground situation of how things are, or the perspective as it exists in both these states, with both the countries, from the Indian perspective and from the CLMV country perspective. Well, the issues that we are talking about is very vital in the sense that there is a great amount of credibility of the nation involved in both these areas. I mean, to have an educational institution of repute for students to come and study here, or for you to send students or set up institutions of learning in those countries. And also in the medicine part of it, that, if you ask anybody, I'm sure everyone has heard about tiger balm without knowing which country it originates from. That is the credibility of the herbal product that I'm talking about. So that credibility which is required to be built up so far as these countries and India is concerned, I think is the first point of action. I feel that as of date, the credibility of India, at least on these two counts, a lot needs to be done. And I think that is where the Government of India and the Ministry of External Affairs has really a more important role to play. Because in my experience around in these countries a month ago, was that they were not very sure about India. Okay, India is there, India's Angkor Wat, original Hindu kings coming in there, and there's India has a little bit of vodka, India has a little bit of chaos, India has a little bit of things that don't work. That kind of a perception is definitely not going to contribute towards real growth of international business in education, especially higher education, and in the health and health sector. While building up of the credibility of the nation, I think this point is the first and foremost area that we really have to work in, so that institutions like India, our regard for Singapore, or our regard for the institutions of higher learning in America, or in England, or in Germany, that level we have to raise our institutions in the country itself. Now, the other day, in the morning, Ravi Kapoor was talking about the educational institutions in Northeast India being very good. But this is again, I see as an area of decline. I studied in the school where I had friends from Bangladesh studying with us. That was East Pakistan then. I had friends from Bhutan. I had friends studying from Sikkim, then it was a separate country then. And we had students coming in from other parts of the country also. But gradually, those then were in English schools, which subsequently over the years became English medium schools, and now they have become very localized schools where no one studies anymore, and it has lost that, that institutional fame which it had. So in that kind of a context, the Indian universities, I really don't know whether we have been able to raise our level in the Committee of Nations as being institutions really where people would come to learn and study. Even otherwise, the presence of India in those countries is very minimal. I think the last 6 months I've been touring around these ASEAN countries, and the only presence of India I saw was 3 nano cars in Sri Lanka. So with that kind of a presence, for the young who would like to come here, or for a health sector to take root, really the importance of the nation has to go much, much higher than this. Well, talking about the herbal health sector, I think we all know that the northeastern region is a very important area, a source of. Now, so far as identifying and all this part of it, I think from the British days, a lot of good work has been done. A lot of documentation has already been done as to what is available. And I think the early forest officers and the officers of the Botanical Survey of India, the Geological Survey of India, and the agencies that we had in British India and subsequently also have done a tremendous job of identifying right from the higher reaches of the Himalayas down to the sea level of the Sudan, or the areas touching the sea, of the sub-montane region, the montane region, the tropical forest region, the evergreen forest region. All those have been documented very well. But as you see, the collection of those herbal medicines is a very traditional way of doing things. You have little people who go and collect them for their own use, or maybe they collect it for a certain amount of commercial use. But the production of those things is not very ensured. And in fact, I think Mr. Singh would Dr. Singh would bear me out, is that there has been over-cultivation, or rather over-extraction of a lot of medicinal plants to the sense that a lot of them would have been gone extinct by now. So this is one area where I think the Government of India and the state governments have a very important role, and also the Botanical Survey of India, to really interact and see that the species have been protected as they were, and their medicinal values have been taken up by Ayush or whatever are the agencies that exist in the government today. Because it may so happen, I have a feeling, that the traditional medicine skills have not yet been documented. In the sense that a lot of communities exist in this area. These people have alternate applications of the same medicinal herb to treat different ailments or to treat different symptoms. But that has not really been documented. And so we really don't know whether to offer to the people that this X plant, or let's say Dioscorea floribunda does this for you, and does in a Adi tribe, or maybe a tribe in Arunachal would say this is the use, a tribe using the same thing in Nagaland would say that we have an alternative use for it also. In Assam we'd say that there is an alternative use for that. That documentation, unless it is really made available in a centralized form, then we can really gauge the potential of that particular plant into alternative uses, which we can subsequently offer to the people at large. So this is one preliminary area where I feel that the Government of India, or whoever are the agencies concerned, or even commercial establishments like Patanjali, or maybe Himalaya Drugs, or maybe Dabur, they can all come together and really work towards documenting this. Now the phase 2 comes the collection part in the natural state and cultivation in the commercial side. The really for herbal medicine has not been set aside. And we have certain medicinal plant nurseries or maybe gardens which are the least attended part by the forest department itself in respective states. So unless we ourselves realize the importance of these commercial cultivation of these, I don't think we really can think about marketing them from the northeast in a commercial scale. In this thing, I must say that in the montane region, that is the sub-Himalayan region, the use of medicinal herbs or the collection of it or cultivation of it has really gone into a more organized way. I have seen in the district of Baleshwar and all along the hills near the starting from Himachal Pradesh, Kashmir to Ladakh to ending in Nepal, that there has been organized cultivation of these medicinal herbs, and as a result of which the collection and the supply system is in place for which commercial use of those plants have been possible. Well, that is, I was talking about the medicinal area part of it. One, we have to establish the credibility of India as a source of these materials, that whatever goes out from us is of the best quality available in the world. And secondly, the uses may be also made known worldwide. So far as higher education is concerned, I'm sure the technical colleges are there. But again, I have my reservations on this Act East. I think we are too late. As Ravi Kapoor had said that we are now talking about the 17 bridges after the road has been built, and that began 17 years ago. Because the news item a few days ago was that there was a massive seizure of Vietnamese-made shoes in Borjar Airport. You must have all seen that news item coming up in Assam Tribune, which is just an indication of the level of markets or technology which is already available in those areas. Now, can we carry coal to Newcastle will be the question once we exactly or actually come into the trade areas. Let's say about hospitality. We think that, I had never had this impression that a single city, Siem Reap in Cambodia, has 575 5-star, 4-star hotels. Now, can we teach them hospitality? Or rather, they would be in a position to teach us hospitality. So if you think about in terms of service industry exchange over these two countries, I really don't think that we are at a comparative advantage, as Dr. Singh had said, that whether we are in a strength to do that. But in that same Siem Reap in the Angkor Wat area, we find that Indian scientists are doing the activity which is bringing in them 8 million tourists. That is archaeological conservation of the Angkor Wat and the Angkor ruins in and around those areas, because India has been the nation which has been forefront even today in maintenance of these, and because of the maintenance of those World Heritage Sites, these countries are now getting tourists from all over the world, to the extent that they are getting about 8 million tourists a year, which is nearly comparable to the total tourists that come into India. So as a regional basis, if we think in terms of that, this is one area where I feel the government of India could really set up these institutes. The Central National Museum has an Institute of Conservation attached with it. There is also a Conservation Institute in Lucknow. Those are the two areas where I think even in the Northeast we could possibly have extension centers which will not only bring about the cultural links much more closer in between those people, because if you know, the Khasi people and the Cambodian people belong to the same Montpellier group, and that is where the cultural affinity will play a very important role. Now, while thinking about it, and I was sitting, that do we wait at an all-India level of interaction in between the CLMV countries, or do we promote it as a part of the Northeast? Northeast as a group which will be interactive. Because we all think that everyone in the world knows about Assam tea, but there was Assam tea being served to me in these 3 countries, yet no one knew where was the source. But Dilma was a visible sign which is packaging Indian tea in all those 3 countries. So there I think we really have to build up this image and see whether we can interact on at the services level of providing value addition to products there. Cane and bamboo, use of cane and bamboo is I think one area where there is. I feel that at some point of time, these CLMV countries which are using cane and bamboo on a large scale in a very aesthetic level would run out of natural resources. And to carry on, they are the world leaders in cane and bamboo and rattan technology or application of that. How to use them in the design component of it and the manufacturing component of it, or alternative uses of those designs, is one area of cooperation in between the CLMV countries and the Northeast, which I feel is a very important area where we can look forward into the future, that we have the source of raw materials. We must now go in for commercial cultivation of cane and bamboo and other kind of things, not waiting for natural extraction. Another area which I feel is the sugarcane and the palm candy area, which these CLMV countries are very strong, but compared to the technology that is available, or what is you all know as Nolangu. I hope all of you who have heard about this famous palm candy called Nolangu, and it's a premium candy over the normal gur. So that is one area where I think we can take from them, open up a perspective area, taking their technology and be a source of using their already established market throughout the world as a source of palm candy, and develop this area as an extended area of the CLMV countries to provide palm candy to the world sourced from this region. The matter of flights have already been raised. I think there is no flight from the northeastern region, and without the flights, I think the whole process does not start. So I would request that is one area. Now another area which I feel is that the CLMV countries have within them physical activity is a part of daily activity. That every one of them does some kind of physical exercise as a part of building stamina, building flexibility, as a result of which they are an excellent workforce. Now I feel that we can be a source of yoga teachers for those countries, and that could be a good service. Because I know of, in my home only, my sister-in-law teaches yoga in Paris. And she's earning much more than what she was earning as a corporate executive now. So she's done her corporate executive job and gone into teaching yoga, and is quite rich to the extent that she's been able to buy a BMW on her own, and an expensive one.
Let us clap for yoga.
So, as I said, archaeological service is one area. Now, Ayurveda, as we know, and the traditional medicinal systems that are there in these countries, I think a certain amount of synergy has to be developed. Our medicines to be, Ayurvedic medicines to be ingrained, or Ayurvedic way of treatment to be ingrained into their traditional system of treatment, which is a very strong one, which will allow us access into their system, and possibly the biggest problem that we are facing today would be a thing of the past, because rhino horns and tiger claws and all these kind of things form an integral part of the Oriental school of medicine, which if we can enter into, we feel that we can possibly prohibit the use. Orchids is of course one area where there is a great scope of developing with both the areas coming over. We can set up their technology, or we can already be a source to add to what they are doing more. Another area, I think in the high-end fashion, is the alligator farming, which I found was very impressive. But the most impressive of the areas where we can think about exchanging technology or learning from them is using the wetlands for lotus cultivation. All the wetland areas in these CLMV countries have now been converted. The water hyacinth has been taken out, and they have started growing podum. BJP should welcome it in all the big ways. That we'll be making available the flowers in fresh and not in the plastic form to adorn each house, adorn each meeting. So this is one area where I felt that we could definitely go ahead. There is a lot of technology to be exchanged, a lot of marketing techniques to be arranged, and also I think cultivation techniques, skills. So as and when it develops, I think it will require the connection. Otherwise, as you see, that will be the Vedanta plane has crashed in Bangkok. So unless we have an air ambulance kind of a facility available, the medical interaction part of it, either as a student or as providing high-end medical services, how much that would be possible in the northeastern context is something to be seen. But of course, so far as Myanmar is concerned, where road links are available, But again, the visa restrictions are so difficult. I mean, it's not something like a cinema ticket you put in your hand, which is otherwise there from, if you go from here, the visa problems are not there in any of the countries, CLMV countries. You can easily go, it's visa on arrival, especially for India. And I hope that the rate of our tourists are going, soon does it happen that you will have to take a visa ahead before being allowed into those countries. So that is the challenge that lies before us of keeping our credibility intact and say that we are welcome tourists. And also, as I conclude, I think we have been sending in a lot of tourists from the northeastern region to those CLMV countries. It's about time that our tourism department also takes proactive steps to publicize India, especially the undiscovered northeast in those areas, so that there is at least a traffic flow coming or starting, which will all begin with cultural exchanges, where the ICCR can really step in. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Barua. Yeah, you have really touched upon a few of the important issues which we need to introspect. Regarding this aromatic and medicinal plants, I would like to add on that. From Assam, we have already documented the medicinal and herbal plants, and then how many indigenous species do we have? And another important aspect which you had just raised about that over-exploitation, or you can say unscientific cultivation of medicinal and herbal plants, which is happening almost all over the country, not only in the northeast. For that, we are sincerely thinking about, and IUCN has just given a list where out of 177 threatened species of aromatic and herbal, 70 odd species are from northeast. So that is very important, where we need to think about that, that what we need to do about this medicinal and aromatic plants, particularly in our own region. Second, quality, I'm talking about higher education, definitely we need to think about the quality of the education. Because when I was a part of donor, again, if you think about, we have so many IITs, universities now, and now AIMS, and talking about IIMs also in northeastern region. But due to my surprise, I'm talking about 3 years back, not a single student was from northeast in IIT and IIM, Shillong. So I was really very much surprised about that. Why? What was the reason? Whether there is a quality of education in +2 or some sort of graduation that our students or our youth from northeast are not going and then entering into these sort of things. So definitely we need to again think about if you talk about higher education. Regarding this cane and bamboo, one important aspect is about, if you think about CLMV or these 4 countries, we need to certify our products for the international market. Unless until we not certify our products as per the standards, international standards, it is very difficult to compete in the international market. So these are the few issues which I was thinking just to add on, Mr. Barua. Thank you very much again.